Buenos dias. Buenas noches. It's nighttime, and I am an expert at Spanish. You may have heard of us snickering before in the, that's because we're an extremely unprofessional operation. And, yeah, I'm not exactly sure how to mute my mic. And I'm worried to learn, because I might stay muted. Welcome to the Sulk stream. I'm your host, the Incredible Sulk. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Friday night. I sure am. Now that I'm here with you guys on this side of the border. Judgmental wife. Anyways. Tonight we're going to be watching a guy who is a U.S. citizen illegally cross over the Mexican border. You guys are already starting an end tower in my chat, and I couldn't be prouder. I could not be prouder. Anyways, it's Friday, so we're going to be real loose with it, right? If I get bored, we're going to change. It's like freeform Fridays, and, yeah, that's what's up. I hope you guys are good. I hope you guys have some plans for this weekend. I hope you guys are living your life to the fullest and being good people, or bad, or medium people. Not everything is black and white. I understand. Hold on. We need that banger going on. It's a banger. It's a Mexican banger. Anyways, guys. Yeah. I think we're good. I think everything's going fine. This is going to be a real light show. This guy's going to do some goofy shit, and then we're going to watch it and make comments, and, yeah. That's what's going to happen. Anyways. Yeah. Get comfy. Get cozy. Get your passports ready. Maybe a nice margarita if you're in the mood. Jess is in the mood.
Oh, look.
Oh, we've completed the end tower. Yeah. Anyways. Anyways, I'm glad you guys completed the end tower. You guys can actually work together, unlike all the idiots on Daywave, which is not surprising. Not even a little bit surprising. I'm pretty sure most of the people in the Daywave chat are schizophrenic, or have like really bad PTSD, or just retarded. Just like completely retarded. And I'm there, and I am the king of the retards. I am leading the retards. Yeah. I'm the only U.S. citizen on that panel, so, you know, I feel like I'm responsible in some manner. So, anyways, guys, back to the banger. If you're working, keep working. Trabajo. If you're driving, you shouldn't be driving because you are an illegal, and illegals aren't allowed to drive. But you're going to do it anyway, and you're probably going to have a nicer car than anybody who pays taxes. Anyways, guys, get a nice bottle of tequila. What else do Mexicans do? I should know this. I'm from California. I should know more Spanish, too. But I didn't associate with those people. They're very... It's an insular... It's a cloistered type of society. They're not Americans, and they know that, and they don't care. They don't want to try. They'll be there for 30 or 40 years, not learn a lick of English. Not a lick of English. And I'm like, how? Oh, because there's like tens of millions of you, so it doesn't really matter. Anyways, guys, I'm the Incredible Sulk. This is the Sulk stream, and this is called Border Patrol Arrest. So, enjoy. Let's rock. I'm sure it'll be fun tonight.
This is me, in the Rio Grande River,
Why not?
crossing the border between Mexico and the United States. Just last year alone, over 2 million migrants entered the U.S. this way. And despite Texas trying to stop them with razor wire,
Piñatas?
floating barriers.
No, you spelled pinatas, so you have to do the squiggle above the A. I'm sure you can do that with your keyboard. I don't know how, but I'm not, you can work on it. You can figure that out. I know that's possible.
And warning signs. Hundreds, if not thousands, still
Pinatas.
cross every single day. And many, unfortunately, do not survive.
Hundreds of migrants.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, if you're coming over for like free stuff and then like you get like the dream life and then you send back tons of money to like Mexico and stuff like that, I guess I kind of get it. Right? If it was Mexico and then they were giving away a bunch of free stuff and I could basically, go and live there for a few months in a year and then make an equivalent of like a lifetime's worth of money. Like a serious lump of cash. Because a lot of these Mexicans, they come to America and they live in apartments with like 15 other guys. And it's like tiny apartments. And this drives up the rent. So like any local or native or anything like that, they just can't afford to get an apartment because, 10 Mexicans who aren't really paying taxes can pool their money together and pay for a $3,000 apartment. It's not that big of an issue. But then they send back mucho dinero to the homeland where they're building like mansions and they have like ranches and stuff like that. You guys think these are poor immigrants and stuff. And a lot of them are. Don't get me wrong. But some of them are like back home. They have like a good piece of land. And Americans can't own Mexican land. We can't own land in Mexico. So the land prices over there are pretty reasonable if you want to live in Mexico. I think you can get a lease if you're an American, like a 100-year lease. But that's not owning it. Anyways.
Have died trying to make a similar journey.
Piñatas, you got it.
Stopped by U.S. Border Police.
You got it.
But rarely, if not ever, has this process actually been documented from a first-person perspective. So we, as legal American citizens, decided to put ourselves in the shoes of the migrant, at least for the final chapter of their journey, and cross the river ourselves.
They didn't even do the hard part. Which is like, well, that depends. Because if you're coming from like Brazil or Guatemala, there's buses and like ferries and stuff like that. And they have this weird star on the side. And then you hop on this bus and then it drives you basically all the way to the border crossing. And then you get off the bus and it's 100% free. And, and then you just swim across and then you're there. And then picked up by another bus. And then shipped to way up north in some cases. Whatever city has the least amount of Mexicans. That's what and so they spread them around real thin. Not thin, but there's millions of them. Orally.
This would prove to be
Is that
not
a word?
The best idea.
Orally?
One hand, I'll grab you in the other.
Just a few seconds after.
What does piñata mean in English? Does it mean like paper mache horse or something like that? Is it or is it just a piñata? We don't have an American term for it. Piñata? Pinedo? That's an honest question. What does piñata mean? Does it just mean beatable thing?
Crossing back into the U.S.,
It must mean something.
The coyotes we traveled with told us to get down. And as I laid down in the fetal position in the dirt, I could hear the sound of tires coming to a halt and gravel crackling on the road.
That's got to be... Especially if you're coming from like way down south, like South America, right? And then you make it across and then, you got. He's got a Fall Out Boy tattoo. Not the stupid band, but like the actual game, the Fall Out Boy. Pinatas.
Manos arriba. Ven pa acá, usted.
Speak English.
Hands up. Speak English?
Yeah.
Get up. Let me see your hands. Got any guns on you?
No, sir.
Face away from me.
We're journalists.
Usted, manos arriba. Bájate. Súbete. You too. You speak English?
Yeah.
Stand up.
As it turned out, United States Border Patrol had been following us for the past hour using infrared heat sensor cameras from boats.
Yeah, so they're probably not thrilled that you came across the border, and because there's smugglers, right? A U.S. citizen can still smuggle drugs into the country. So if you're trying to swim across the river and stuff, they're going to be like, okay, you probably have drugs or you're doing something pretty illegal. But no, they're just like, we're journalists. Like, okay, well, that's a crime, brah.
A minute later, we were
That's a
placed
crime.
under arrest, handcuffed, and put in the back of a border
You did
patrol
some
vehicle.
crimes.
The agents, however, remained on scene to collect our belongings.
Did he pay the cartel fee?
And by some miracle...
No. Does the cartel own the river? Or not own the river? Like, we own the river. We should call it the Grand River and not the Rio Grande, right? If we're out there changing names, let's call it the Grand River and stop messing around. Or it is half Mexican, so we can call it the Grand Rio. We have to do it's for us, okay? For us, we already have the Gulf of America. All right, I think that's fair. That's a 50-50. Not everything has to be Mexican named, you know?
They forgot to turn off the cameras or confiscate our SD cards, which is how you're able to see this footage.
He takes a picture of his dick, and he's all like, ha-ha. And then he's looking through it, and, he got me. He punked me. That's what I would do if I was
We thought we were
bored.
going to be fine. I mean, truth be told, we didn't think what we did was illegal. But oh boy,
That's a very stupid thing to think. It's a very stupid thing to think.
were we wrong. We spent the next 4 days locked up as detainees at a migrant processing center in Eagle Pass, Texas. We weren't given a phone call until 48 hours after our
Background noise says they have grenade fights along the river to control the people smuggling. Grenade fights, huh? So they're just tossing grenades back and forth? That's cool, I guess. There's guns, too. People have guns. Everyone's got guns.
detention. But thankfully, we'd brought along 2 additional videographers for this particular shoot, who were stationed safe and sound on the American side while we crossed the river. Here is their story.
My name is Juan Jimenez.
I'm Elliot Liedgren.
Okay, Juan, back over. Get on the bus. Sorry, you have the face tattoo. It's going to get worse. That's what it says on his face. It says it's going to get worse on his face. He has that on his right here. Right here. That's a self-fulfilling prophecy right there. You tattoo it's going to get worse on your face, and you look at yourself in the mirror every day. I mean, he didn't do the mirror, but he knows what it means, right? You look at yourself every day, and your life is sucking, and you're stupid enough to have face tattoo. So you're already like, your life is gonna get worse, bro. You're not getting a job a job anywhere. Could you imagine going to Taco Bell and the guy taking your order it's going to get worse? It's already Taco Bell. Can't it get better? Just a little bit? That's a terrible, terrible tattoo. I'm just saying. Don't get face tattoos. Don't get neck tattoos. Don't get tattoos that are like not easily covered up.
And we got brought on to do some B-roll and film for Channel 5. All of us were like so extremely confident, like we're gonna get this crazy video of what people go through like every fucking
One
day.
Snickers
This is
bar.
250 calories to prevent me from dying of hunger. And then this is
One Snickers bar. One Snickers bar. But you're only swimming across a river, dude. So you're not even doing the thing, right? It's not like you're walking across the entirety of Mexico, which is like crazy. It's crazy. And don't tell me these people are refugees from a war happening nowhere near them, right? I mean, if you walk 3,000 something miles, you don't have to walk 3,000 miles to get away from a war. You just don't. No war encompasses 3,000 miles. I mean, no. But if you were doing that, I would get more than one Snickers bar. At least 2. At least 2. That's a meal. 500 calories, that's a meal.
a knife to maybe cut through weeds up there.
And we were
Has no idea. You're not cutting through weeds. You're cutting through barbed wire, right? And you're stabbing people. You're stabbing innocent people because, you're a criminal.
just like excited. I think
what
we were
you're
all excited
doing.
to like be able to get that footage. But yeah, Andrew and Susan went to jail.
Tight. Mexican, well, it's not a jail per se. It's a detainee is a detention facility. It's not exactly a jail. Jails are different things. This is more like a kennel for Mexicans, which might be worse. It honestly might be worse. But what do you want? You want to be put up at the Ritz? Because like most Mexicans, like most illegal aliens that cross, they go to New York and they put up at like 5-star hotels at the city's expense. Why? Why? We know why. I know why. Everybody knows why. Hey, David.
All right, so turns out you actually can't do that. So if you're watching...
David says desert and candy bars don't mix well. I don't... Go in the fucking winter then, right? You can travel across Mexico in the winter and then your chocolate bar doesn't melt. And I don't, you know... It's not like there's not places to eat in Mexico. I've been to Mexico. I've been to Mexico lots of times. They have restaurants, cochinas, everywhere. You get like one of those margaritas with the tiny Coronas in it and stuff like that. Hang out at the beach. You're in good times. You're having a good time. You're having a good time. And yeah, these people might be pretty poor, but they also might not be all that poor.
Don't do what I did.
It's a federal offense called failure to report.
AKA.
JD Grab says, I know people with face tattoos that are very successful at what they do. Crime? Is that what they do, JD? Is what they do crime? Because, you know, that's like, you're missing the point entirely. You're missing the point entirely. I know you mean crime. I 100% know you mean crime. Right? It's not like they're a real estate agent with like, you know, like an LA Dodgers tattoo, like right here. I don't know why they would be in England, have an LA Dodgers tattoo like right here. You've seen those Mexicans, right? A big ass L and a big ass A right there. Right there, right there. Like, dude, you're going to be instantly recognizable. Okay? It's just like, if you rob any place or do anything like that, they're going to be like, it's the guy with the LA Dodgers logo on his face right here. Yeah. Yeah, he was a Mexican. About 5'2", 100 pounds. Yep. I don't know. Like, I'm sure most of you have seen Mexicans. A lot of Europeans don't know what Mexicans look like. They don't look like me, right? So a lot of Europeans be like, "Oh, you look like a Mexican." No. I don't. I'm slightly darker than most Americans. That's true, but Mexicans do not look like me. They look completely different, and you don't know that. You don't know that because you're European. So, but you will at one point, because when they're all filled up in America, they're going to start shipping it over to you guys. I know you guys got Arabs and stuff. I don't know which one. I would rather have Mexicans. I would rather have Mexicans than like the Sub-Saharans and like the Middle Easterners and stuff like that. Any day. Any day. A lot of Mexicans are very nice. Some of them are pretty scary. But a lot of them, very nice. But not all of them.
Illegal entry to the United States.
Punishable by up to 1 year in federal prison and or $5,000 in fines.
You can only enter the United States through an official port of entry with a customs agent there. Even if you're an American citizen.
Background noise says, it's too bad they don't make some sort of mix for walking down trails. That's a good idea. Like maybe some sort of nut and M&M and maybe raisin sort of deal. Raisin and peanuts kind of thing. What would we call such a thing, though?
Cannot hop the border into your own country.
Mexican fuel. That's what we'd call it. We'd call it the border hop. Something like that.
It took a lot longer, honestly, than I initially thought. I mean, I think we were on the other side 2-3 hours or something.
Yeah,
like
at least. So we had their location, and I was like looking at it, and you guys were moving like super slow, but we were rooting for you. You know what I mean? Like, oh fuck, they're probably like, I'm imagining you guys like, you know, crawling through the brush and shit, like
perhaps
up,
even
like, snakes and
seeds,
scorpions and shit. But
we kept
you
checking like the
I mean, if we're okay, we're trying to learn about these guys border hopping and stuff like that. But if we're actually like brainstorming a hit candy bar or some sort of new snack invention, I think doing that was probably a better use of our time. So, hit me with the brainstorming ideas. If we can make some sort of beaner fuel to help the Mexicans or the Guatemalans, oof, those are bad ones, or the Brazilians or any of those, to help them cross the border illegally, maybe some sort of gummy berry juice. If you get that reference, I appreciate you.
Like every
Just refreshing.
Yeah,
just
probably
like
like 10 minutes just being.
Do you guys remember that show, The Gummy Bears? And they drink the gummy berry juice, and then they bounce around and shit like that? Dude, classic.
Right, like, oh, the boys are moving.
they get to the
Is it just
Rio
me?
Grande,
It
and
might
we're
be
like,
just
"Fuck,
me.
they
I
made
don't
it to
care."
the fucking river, and slowly see them cross.
Yeah, beaner fuel.
America. Fuck yeah, they made it. And
Beaner
you get to
fuel.
the other side,
What do you
and they're
call
just
it?
like motionless for like.
What do you
probably
call
like
it?
15,
Trail mix? Like some uninspired jackass? Come on, David.
20 minutes, and I was like, word, like, again, envisioning them just like waiting for the BP truck to go by and like, just hiding out. Like 15, 20, 30 minutes, like it was like, all right, like, fuck's going on here? And then boom, speeding up the highway. And then all of a sudden it was like, bam, like Eagle Pass, South Texas Border Patrol Station. I was like, fuck, bro.
Yeah. As soon as the Border Patrol agent apprehended us right across the river, both the coyotes who brought us across jumped back in the river, swim back toward Mexico.
Come back.
Bye. What did the Border Patrol do? Nothing? They did nothing? Oh, there goes some criminals. Bye. Throw a net on them or something. You have to have some sort of like net deployment device, right? The beaner catcher. We have a whole line of beaner products that, it's like Acme, only it's far cheaper. Yeah, there has to be some sort of beaner net gun or something like that. Don't you have boats? They just hop in the water and then they watch them swim across the Rio Grande. How long does that take? 15, 20 minutes? That's got to be hard. It's a wide river. There's like alligators and shit in there. I don't know that for a fact. I don't know what's in the Rio Grande. Mexicans, that's for sure. They just hop in and then swim off. And then they're all like, come back. Oh, well, I guess we'll take you guys to jail. That's the laziest border. Did you make the Mexicans? Did you just pick a few Mexicans and be like, all right, you're on our team now? And they're like, okay, man. And they're like, they get guns and citizenship and stuff like that. It's the laziest law enforcement you could possibly do, right? They hop in the river and then it's like, not our fucking problem anymore. Seriously, bro? Shoot at them. You have guns on you. Shoot at them. Pew, 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 pew. Do that. Do that. If I had my trusty taser there, I would tase that entire river. It would just become electrified. And then they just start bobbing up. Right? Dead Mexicans. Like papas fritas.
Come back over here. Get over here.
Which are French fries
This left us
to
alone.
you and me.
Border Patrol custody.
So I just told
neck
him
gun,
exactly, what was up. I told him, hey, we're journalists. We're
Perfect.
trying to introduce some
Absolutely,
migrants."
David. Absolutely. Here, you lazy beaner cops. A net gun. $4,000. $4,000. I'm going to have to save this. Because I could use a net gun. I mean, I don't know how I can use a net gun. I do have kids, though. I have 2 little boys, and they are fast. So, if I'm just rocking a net gun, and, they try to get away, I'll just blast them. Because I can't tase my own kids. The law is very clear about that. I can't tase my own kids. But I can net gun them. And it would be easy, and it would be fun. And they would giggle. And, what's the, options and add-ons? Extra nylon with weights. Okay. Quick detached barrel and canister. 50. Dude, I might have to get this. I know. My wife's like, you got to stop making, these reckless purchases and stuff like that. And I'm like, shut your mouth. And then she, because she has to. Because she's not going to escape. No, she's not going to. No, she wouldn't dare. But, oh, damn, $4,000? Oh, we might have to start a net gun fund. Damn it. I'm so irresponsible.
We interviewed
I'm so irresponsible.
We just interviewed
those are child size version
across, but we don't actually know who they are, which is true. So,
perfect. Hold on. This is going right here, and little CO2 canisters. Wow, that's really cool. Actually, that's really cool. This one's rifle powered. So is there like a blank? Like a 5.56 blank that you put in there, and then it because they have those can attachments that you shoot like soda cans. You just put it on like an AR-15, and then put a blank in the chamber, and then you shoot it, and the thing goes like a mile, dude. And it's like very deadly. You send a beer can through a car door. It's like it's got some power. But this little one, I think I could get this without my wife being like, "Oh, you're burying us in debt." Ultranet 4 head kit, that's $1,000. Ultranet starter kit, $500. Holy shit! Buy now. Choose net size, small, medium, large. I want it big enough to when they grow up that I can still net them properly. And, oh boy. Oh my God. Oh. But what would I use it for? Besides I want it! I want it so bad.
They were actually pretty cool.
I want it, dude.
If I remember correctly, they were understanding. They just said, okay, we're going to take
cannons
you
are
to the
savage,
facility.
dude.
We're going to run your
They're
ID.
nuts. I would not want to get hit with one of those, especially a full beer can or something like that to the chest. That'll kill you. That'll straight up kill you. Even if you were to put a t-shirt, a rolled up t-shirt in there, and then it's a full 5.56 223 shell. It's just not shooting a bullet, right? But it'll shoot a t-shirt at you at 300 miles an hour. It's gonna leave a bruise. It would be funny if I shot you with a t-shirt and then you ended up wearing the t-shirt. It just shot it onto you. But you're still dead. You're still dead from the velocity of the t-shirt. And it says it's not a sex cult. Right? It's so stupid.
Run your name, make sure you have no criminal charges, and then once we check for that, you guys will be good to go. So we thought it was going to be fine.
I like this animation because it reminds me of that early 2000s internet video with a guy with the snake hand and stuff. And he laid eggs. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
So we get there to the Border Patrol facility. They take the shoelaces out of our shoes, give us flip-flops.
Catch one beaner and it paid for itself. Yeah, but you can catch a beaner in one of the smaller ones, right? They don't get big. They're small. And I think that comes from centuries of being sacrificed on one of those big pyramids, and then their heads get rolled down the thing. They picked the biggest ones first because apparently the sun god really liked that. So they just ended up being super small. And yeah. And the pyramid building ones, they're no more. They all got sacrificed. So F in the chat for them. Or whatever the Mexican equivalent for F is. F-A.
Blue outfit, and we walk in.
Guess.
It kind of looks like a DMV or a Department of Licensing, depending on which state you're in.
Oh yeah,
so
it was on Adult Swim.
We got
wasn't
6 computers behind this
God, you guys remember that when Adult Swim was new? Oh, I'm dating myself, dude, because that shit was I was in high school or something, and then it was oh, that's wild. Yeah.
Citadel type center complex. Everyone's typing away, running people's names and shit. We're just sitting there waiting. You know what I mean? So I go up there, they take my fingerprint, they take a picture of me, they ask me a couple basic questions. What were you doing
Background
next?
says it doesn't sound irresponsible if you're doing it for your kids. I mean, right? And like, if I were to shoot them with like the man cannon right here, look at that. It's bolt action. That thing, it's probably like a 308 round that they put in there. And then, so that thing's coming at you with some speed. I mean, if you get hit with one of the weighted parts, it's going to leave a mark. It's going to leave a bruise, you know? But one of these little CO2 canisters, that's still probably going to hurt pretty bad. There's a lot of, like, yeah, these are pretty powerful. I really might have to get that. For $500, I would be stupid not to get this, right? I'd be a bad parent not to get this. Please, somebody tell me that.
Mexico. Have you ever been to North Korea? Like, have you ever been to Russia before? Random shit.
How do you get into North Korea as an American? I know people have done it. You have to go through China. What do you say when you get to the border and then they're all like, you're like an American. Why do you want to be in North Korea? If they spoke English. I doubt they speak English. How do you explain that? There has to be some sort of special visa program or something like that. Lisa Ling went as a journalist into North Korea, and they let her. And they let her leave, too. I think if you want to go to North Korea, you technically can, but you mind your P's and Q's when you're in North Korea. You don't, like, try to steal a flag, and then, because that happened to somebody. Somebody went to North Korea, and they thought they were being, like, funny and silly. An American dude, and he stole a flag, a North Korean flag, and they arrested him. And they kept him in jail for many years. And then they beat him to death. Yeah. So, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't go to North Korea in general. Right? If you can find yourself, if you're like, have the opportunity to go to North Korea, don't do that. You know, it's not worth it. And if you're like a female and you want to do the eat, pray, love thing and travel around the world alone as like a cute blonde chick, don't do that. Don't fucking do that. Don't be that stupid whore that gets like raped and murdered in like Pakistan or something like that because she wanted to live. Oh, I want to taste adventure and stuff like that. That's just a euphemism for, slutting it up around the planet. We all know. Anyways, don't do that. Never do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't be so fucking stupid.
If I was like a spy,
I've seen a lot of stupid
like,
girls.
Cool. Sounds good. We'll talk.
And some really bad things happen to them.
Talk to you in a second. So I sit on one of the benches right there. I'm just waiting to be released, obviously, because I'm like,
Kill Dotson says you can't have another nation's flag on your shirt or anything. Does any nation have a black flag? Because I think I'll be safe otherwise. If there is a black flag that I don't know about, please tell me. Like just a flat black flag. I think I'll be okay. I'm not going to North Korea. I have no plans to go to North Korea. I never wished to be in North Korea in my entire life. I will be fine if I die not setting foot in North Korea. I'll be super fine with that.
Once they figure out that we are
super okay.
I was like, look up our channel. You'll see what we do. Like, we meant no ill intent. It's all good. So the Border Patrol dudes start telling me these stories about how
name
they
it the
had to
Beaner Catcher
rescue
3000
John
or
and
maybe
children.
something that rhymes. The net, right? The Beaner Catcher 3000 is a little bit played out. I mean, I could catch roughly 3,000 beaners. I mean, at least. I would name it the wetback attack or the taco bender blinder or something like that. Something of that nature.
And then how they've had to discover.
I'll work
dead
on
bodies
that.
floating
You put
in
me
the
on the
river and
spot,
just
bro.
All these traumatic incidents
The
that their job entails.
The Mexicant is very good. The Mexicant is very good. That might be the winner, David.
They felt like we were kind of making a mockery of their job.
The
and risk
Mexican nope.
associated by trying to cross, which I was sympathetic to. Looking back, I think we did go a bit beyond what is
honestly
safe. And
you net somebody when they're trying to swim across the Rio Grande, they're gonna drown, and I don't think that's murder. I think that's just self-defense. That's just you defending your country, right? Be like, I remembered the Alamo. Did you guys? I think that's fair and square. If it's not, let me know. If it's not okay to like execute people as they commit crimes, which I'm pretty sure, especially in Texas, it's okay. In Texas, that's fine. There's like these things called castle laws. We have them in Florida as well. And you can, I would imagine that the entire state is your castle. So
acceptable, but I wanted to get the story, so I figured it
maybe
made
not
sense at the time.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm not one of those Hispanic lawyers that has a billboard that says like accidente on it. Because if I killed you, it wasn't an accidente.
But looking back, I probably didn't do it again.
It was on purpose-o.
I do my interview. Behind me, there had to have been, I would say, like 200 migrants just staring at me through this glass window.
They're just sitting there all fat. Whoever did this animation is hilarious, dude, because he's just standing there all fat. Hey. Didn't look like that rough of a journey. That's all I'm saying.
You know, and they were bewildered as well because they were also wearing these outfits, and they saw I was in the outfit, and I'm visibly American, and Susan is also visibly American. At first, it was a little bit awkward.
What does he mean by that? What do you mean visibly American? Do you mean what? Do you mean white, you filthy racist? You filthy with your, I don't know what to call this look, with the mustache and the curly hair. It feels very 70s kind of porn star-ish, but also painter, like a painter. Maybe I don't know what to call that look. But, yeah. Why can't I use like a large drone with our patented beaner drowner, the bean sinker? How many slurs are there? The spick, the spick seeker. I'm gonna think of this is just what I'm gonna do the rest of the stream. Did you guys think I had a plan? Like I came in here like with a good plan about what to do with tonight's stream? It's Friday. It's my Friday too. Okay? It's my Friday too. I get to do whatever I want. All right? That's how I get through the end of the week, right? It's like, okay, it's Friday. This is officially I don't give a fuck on Friday. And you may be like, but John, you don't give a fuck any day. And I'm like, you want me to get the Spick Seeker? Do you want me to, the drone Spick Seeker, equipped with Spick Seekers? The Mexicant? That's still the best one. The Mexicant is still the best one.
Awkward, but then I guess there's some metal.
The Roleno Wrangler, that's pretty good too.
Just like Susan. What's his name? El Buki. El Buki. I guess they're a big fan. So we hear people.
That's a white guy. That's a fucking white guy. That's a white guy. Why are Spanish stars always white? They're always white. And if they're not like pristine, clean white, they're pretty white, but maybe they had like an Aztec ancestor or something like that. That's a white dude. All the Mexican chicks they have that do the weather with the fat asses and the big tits, they're all white. And you'll be like, they're not white, they're speaking Spanish. And then I'll call you a fucking retard because you don't know what the country of Spain is, dude. They're white people too. They're just a little bit darker. They're like, you know, we white people too, you know? Because you're a little Mediterranean, like there's nothing wrong with that. I'm sorry I don't have blue eyes. You know, my father has blue eyes. My son has blue eyes. It skipped me. All right. If I had blue eyes, I might not be as racist. Honestly, I don't think I'd be able to get away with it. But since I don't, I have this color palette. I think I can get away with it. Thank God.
We yell, El Buki!
Thank God.
Going like this, like, El Buki! Susan just turns back and he's like this, El Buki! And they're all just like, yeah! They were hyped on us, you know? And most of these dudes are covered in water.
Oh, the Beaner Bolo's really good too. The Beaner Bolo. Kill Dodson says it's called the faggot. Dude, that's lazy. The Beaner Bolo is good, but not the faggot, dude. That's like, come on. There's so many things that called that already. And like, we have too many of them as it is.
Grand, like bloodshot eyes. I can't even imagine how long.
And Pumesa says Mexico is wider than the U.S. If you go to Mexico or like Costa Rica especially, there's tons of white people. And they live in like really nice gated neighborhoods. If you go to like Cancun or something like that, there's a lot of very, very white neighborhoods. And a lot of them are Americans, but some of them are just white Mexicans. There's a lot of white Mexicans. Mexico is just a country. That doesn't mean everyone there has to be Indian, is what. So I know some white Mexican people, and they call what we call Mexicans, they call Indians, right? It's not the white people that are swimming across the Rio Grande. It's the Indians. And yeah, they don't like them either.
Been on the road for like, if I wasn't mistaken, like most of them were being processed to be sent home. It wasn't like a put you on a bus, take you to Chicago type of situation. It was like kind of dark vibes.
Background noise says the dude on the Tapatio hot sauce bottle is white with blue eyes. Exactly, dude. Everything that comes out of Mexico, not everything, but like a lot of them are white people, dude. There's a lot of Jews in Mexico. Did you know that? There's like a lot of Jewish people and there's a lot of white people. It's just a country. And like you can be whatever color you want and get there. And like it's just like the rules are a little looser. Mexico's cool. I like Mexico. I like going to Mexico. There you can do a lot of stuff and like, you know, it just seems more relaxed. I'm sure there's lots of violence and stuff. I know for a fact there is. But, you know, it seems like it would be easier. Like cheaper. Mexico's nice.
And so I'm looking at, you know,
I don't know why everyone wants out of there so bad. Yes, I do. It's because when they come to America, everything is free. Everything for a Mexican person is free. These guys made a huge mistake. They were white and they were American citizens. When they cross the river, their coyote, which is the guy who takes them across, he was like, okay, bye, and then jumps back in the river and crosses back. Because they don't care about that guy. Now they have these guys, they're probably going to do some time. They're doing time. When they catch like an Indian Mexican or something like that, either they send them back these days, but back in the Biden administration, they put them on a bus and sent them to like New York and stuff, right? And they lived in fancy palaces and like got a bunch of free stuff. So, like $13K a month. $13K a month in spending cash. In spending money. Can you imagine? That is a huge amount of money. That is a huge amount of money. Are you kidding me? So they were living good lives. No wonder they were risking their lives just to swim over a river. You know? $13K a month. That is wild. That's better than 99% of like actual hardworking white Americans. That's how I like saying it. Okay. I like sounding like a slave driver. But I couldn't drive slaves. I'd be too lazy too.
These dudes in the box.
I could whip. I could get pretty good with a whip,
as they call it. And I'm like, oh, thank God I'm not going in there. You know, like it's gonna be fine. And so they call me back up, and they're like, Callahan, you're being brought up for prosecution. And they're like, illegal entry into the United States. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean illegal entry? Like, I'm not an illegal. And one of them goes, I know you're not an illegal alien, but you did something an illegal alien would do. You know, I asked the dude.
You mean like a crime? You did a crime like an illegal alien would do? Then why do you guys let them stay? Why is there California has like 30, 40 million people. And it has maybe 40 million illegal people. Right? It doesn't count towards the consensus because they don't like pay taxes. But they are allowed to vote. For some reason. For some reason, they're allowed to vote, and they're allowed to like own cars, and like they can go to the DMV and they can get a license, and then it says like Juarez on there and stuff like that, and they can do everything except for really pay taxes. They have to pay sales tax. They can't really get around that one, but they don't have income tax because they're not a citizen. But why let them vote? Why let them vote? They have no stake in society. Most of the money they make gets sent back to Mexico. Like most of the money they make gets sent back to Mexico. And they can make a shitload of money. Especially if they're getting $13K a month. Right? So they're just getting taxpayer money on top of having whatever job they happen to have. And then just sending them back to their family in Mexico. And then they bail, dude. They do that for a few years and they bail and then live for the rest of their life off of what they made while they were here. It's a sweet gig, dude. It's a sweet gig. And in Mexico, they have these pamphlets that they hand out. And they're like, how to get into America. And it's handed out by the Mexican government. By the Mexican government. They hand out pamphlets of how to sneak in to the United States. Because the Mexican government benefits greatly from that kind of money transfer, right? It all goes through Western Union. Everyone's been to a Mexican supermarket. They have the Western Union right there, and then it's always busy, right? So there's some serious problems going on.
Dude there, I'm like, all right, let's keep it real. Like, when are we getting out of here? And he's like, probably a couple hours.
Leo Von Puzel, you just followed me today, dude. What is up? You're common in Daywave, and you just follow me today. I'm like, dude. I saw the notification when you had, and I was like, that motherfucker. Like, I've been doing this for years now. You just, dude.
Remember that? And I'm like, all right, should I wait in here? He's like, no, we're going to have you wait in the box. I'm just like, dude, no fucking way. And I'm not going to lie, I'm like kicking and screaming at this moment. I was like, I'm a fucking American citizen, and I have rights.
Background says they also have to spend a certain amount of their troqueondos? What the hell is that? What's a troqueondo? Troqueon? I don't know what that is.
Right. And they were like,
Leo says, what? What do you mean what, bro? What do you mean what? How many times have you heard me say, like, the Sulk stream is on tonight at 8? How many times have I dropped my link in the chat that I know you've seen? I know you've seen. And you just now follow me? I'm like, I'm not like mad. I'm just disappointed. You know,
and I guess
some other guy made a comment on my video the other night that said, dude, I didn't know you had a channel. Are you fucking for real? How do I be more public about this? How do I mention this more? Like, I don't know what to do. Should I wear a shirt that says I have a show too? What do you want me to do, guys? How is this even possible? He was like, Rad, I didn't know you had a show. You watch Daywave and you don't know I have a... What do you think I do? You think I just go on Daywave for nothing? You know I don't get paid on that show. You know I do that for free, right? I do that for free so I can get people on this show where I do get donations occasionally. I'm not going to lie to you. It doesn't make me rich. Doing this doesn't make me rich, okay? I do this for your benefit, okay? I'm doing this for you guys. So we can talk about like the bean catcher and the Mexicant and stuff like that. We can cook up these great ideas. I think we're changing the world here, guys. All right? Can you be with me? Can you stick with me?
Detention status isn't like being processed in a county jail.
So, I mean, obviously, first thing we did was try to call the Border Patrol office. And it's funny, when I was on the phone with them, like, I was starting to realize that they don't operate like regular cops. Like, if you get booked in like a regular county jail, you'll end up on some booking website, like, probably by the end of the night. And all the info's there. They'll see when you got locked up, what you're there for. When I called them, they basically said, if you have friends that are here right now, they are under investigation. And if they're under investigation, we're not at liberty to talk about any of this. They didn't have to confirm like whether or not they were there or anything. Like,
being in the custody of CBP is not the same as being in custody of like.
You got a lot of tats, bro, and that's like a lot of tats. And he's got like the detention desk look, which is a look. I mean, like, I'm not like judging you on the hand tats are a little much, right? The hand tats are a little much. I kind of go for, if you're gonna go for a lot of work, do the Yakuza thing, right? Where it's like, you know, it's blank here, and from here up it's blank, and nothing on the neck or nothing like that. So you wear like a business suit, and then they can't tell you're part of the Yakuza. But the rest of it, go for it. Go for it. That's I mean, it's a lot, but you do you.
With the police.
Right.
Because police, there's the Constitution and everything, all of that. CBP, not so much, because if you're illegal, you don't have constitutional rights.
Here's the thing, though. If you're a U.S. citizen, even if you do something illegal, like pass illegally into the country, you still are protected by the Constitution. Just because you're in the CBP, where most people are not protected by the Constitution, that doesn't matter. You are still a U.S. citizen, and you are subject to the Constitution. You have the rights of an American citizen. You will have to go through the process there, right? And it's going to be a little different, but you still have the rights of an American citizen. It doesn't matter where you are, right? You can be in Cuba, but if you're an American citizen, you still have those rights. Yeah.
I mean, they could be charged with human trafficking if they were believed to be so, because
there's no evidence of that, though.
You know, if two guys going across the border and you bring somebody with you, that's human trafficking.
So
they didn't bring anybody with them. The coyote that brought them hopped back in the water and crossed, and then they did nothing. They didn't even they didn't even bust out the beaner bolo or the faggot. Bring in the faggot. Beep beep. It's just a bunch of gay guys that jump in the water after him. They're deathly afraid of homosexuals. I get it.
A detainee is super weird because
you don't want to be swimming in the same water with a bunch of homosexuals. It's just dangerous. It's gross.
Access to traditional jail shit. Like, there's no rec time, there's no commissary, or like phone call.
You're in a holding facility. You're looking for rec time and a commissary? Dude, of course they don't have anything like that. Oh, it's a holding facility. They're not going to have a commissary at a holding facility. This dude has not done, I mean, I'm not saying I've done time, but this guy hasn't done time.
So I go into this box, right?
Yeah, exactly, Dotson. He says, release the homos. Imagine hearing that, and then you just hear a bunch of homos coming after you. I don't know what kind of sound effect they make. I'm sure it's gross. Just a lot of slurping and sloshing sounds, I guess. Noises like that. I honestly, if I was like in the middle of the night swimming across the river and I heard stuff like that, I would be scared too. I would be afraid for my life. Just hit me with the bolo beaner. All right, don't send in the faggots. Okay. I wonder if I'm still on YouTube.
Extremely bright room, probably 20 feet wide,
I don't care.
20 feet long. 20
I
by
don't
20
care.
room with maybe 60 migrants in there, all huddled up.
Running limp wrist, screaming, "Yes, queen!" Right? And then they take you to jail, but you're dressed like super fashionably. Is that true? Do all gay guys have like really good fashion taste? Why? If that is true, why? Why is that a thing? What happened in their brain to make them not only crave men, but also designer fashion? I don't understand. I don't get that. I don't get the first part either, but I extra don't get the second part. But you can't just wear normal clothes? I don't know.
Next to each
I don't
other.
know.
There's one giant jug of Gatorade in the middle. They have a tiny TV in there. And that movie Marley and Me was playing. That Owen Wilson movie where they go
In the holding facility. They're playing Marley and Me. Not like Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke or something like that. Or what's another? Desperado. Make them feel a little bit more at home. No, I guess you don't. You don't want to make them feel at home. So you have Owen Wilson up on the screen, and they look at that, and they're like, this is what America's about? Oh, I do want to leave.
Golden Retriever dies. Spoiler alert. And there's one sink and one...
But that was rude. That was rude. What if I was planning on watching Marley and Me later tonight? What if I was planning, after this show, I was going to sit down on my couch with my wife, have a bowl of popcorn, and watch Marley and Me? That's pretty inconsiderate. That's pretty inconsiderate. Not only that, you were in the holding facility, and then you watched the whole fucking movie? I guess, what else are you doing? What else are you doing? It's just a bunch of Mexicans standing around you, staring at you. And you're watching Marley and Me? That's what you invest your time in? Okay, whatever. What else is he supposed to do?
One toilet for 50 people. Whew! That did not stop dudes from shitting. Man.
JD says gay fellas have shit fashion taste. Yeah, dude, but you dress like the farmer from Babe. Like you got the whole Peaky Blinders with the, the hat and everything. I'm not, maybe your thing works where you live. And I'm not claiming to be a fashion expert. I wear a black t-shirt and black pants and my boots, and I wear that every single day for every day of my life. Yeah, people notice, and people make comments on it. And you know what I do? I completely disregard them. And you should disregard my comments on your silly hat and your suspenders. If that's what makes you feel comfortable and makes you feel good in this world, then by all means, sir, you wear that silly little hat. I don't even know what that hat is called. Is it another thing that's called a faggot? Is it? You British people use that word for literally everything. Meatballs, cigarettes, weird little hats, elevators, I imagine. Why? Because they go down on people.
Man, I've never smelled gnarlier shits in my life. I walk in and they were like, ¿Por qué estás aquí? And
the Bentejo popper is pretty good too. But that sounds like a rap song from a Mexican. Pop, that Bentejo, Yeah.
Like, soy americano, and they're like,
because that means pussy, right? Or is that panoche? I don't understand Spanish. I think it's a weak language.
Mexicano, y estás aquí, ¿por qué? And so I became like a real golden goose up in that pod. There's this big ass tag on the wall that says MS Honduras, like, MS-13 Honduras. All these fucking dudes in there start pointing to it, and they're like, Mira, Mississippi! Aha, Mississippi! They're acting like I did it because I'm white. They were just fucking with me. Susan is in the other pod across the way. So I see him, I don't know what it was, but I see him sitting there in this...
Susan? Your bro's name is Susan? Did I catch that?
Haitian dude was looking at Susan like he was trying to...
Susan? Who names Susan? Your parents named you Susan? You're kidding me. Susan, you're a dude. You have long hair and a mustache, and you go by Susan. What? What? That's not even one of those names that's like by gender, like Drew or something like that, or Francis. No, Susan is specifically a female's name. Susan. Hey, Susan. Do you call him Sue? Weird. I'm not here to judge. I am not here to judge.
Like run his cheeks type vibes. You remember him? I look over at you, I see you, and this Haitian dude looking
hey,
like
Pamonkey. And JD grabs, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I'm just making fun of you.
So I'm laughing hysterically.
You're my boy, though. You're my boy.
5 feet away from Susan. So I keep going like this, letting the homie know I'm all right. Ended up talking to these kids from Colombia, super cool ass like 19-year-old kids from Colombia. Had absolutely no idea about like what America was like. Didn't even know where they were going. They were just like, yeah, we just left Medellin. We're from the slums. We left the slums of Medellin 2 days ago. The first thing they asked me is they're like, where do people speak Spanish at? And I was like, pretty much everywhere, you know, a lot of Mexicans in Texas and California and the Southwest. And in Florida, you got the Cubans, and New York and Philly, you got...
The Cubans don't like you. The Cubans are a totally different race of people. I mean, I feel like Cubans are more white than Mexicans are. I mean, but again, these aren't the white Mexicans these are the straight up Indians, like the Aztecs and stuff. And they have a very specific look about them, right? I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. JD, you might not know what I'm talking about, but Mexicans, they don't look like Spanish people or like Mediterranean people or anything like that. They look way different. Like they're covered with tattoos a lot of the time, but even if they're not, their facial features are very distinct. They're not very big. They're I guess I could find a picture of some Mexicans,
Puerto Ricans and Dominicans.
Let's see
and
if
stuff.
I can.
And they were like, what about Nashville?
Oh, by the way, here's my, if anybody wants to donate, which I kind of doubt because I'm just not putting in effort tonight. That's my Ko-Fi. So look into it and see if it works for me. You guys, what was I doing? Looking for Mexicans.
I was like, no, they don't speak Spanish there. I was like, the one place where I was like, they definitely don't speak Spanish there. And they were like, that's where I want to go. And I was like, why? And they were like, Taylor Swift, she's
Mexicans?
so sexy. I love Taylor Swift. And like, that was like their fantasy, was to just like cowboy and cowgirl. Like, it was that simple. And I realized,
these
like,
aren't
damn,
Mexicans.
not every migrant is like.
I like how I put in Mexicans and it shows me a bunch of white people, dude. These are all white people. They're in Mexico. They're in leadership positions and stuff like that. And some are announcers. And that one's the president, but that's not white. She's Jewish. A majority Catholic country. Like 98% Catholic, at least. And they have a Jewish president. Nothing suspicious there. No, nothing, absolutely nothing suspicious about that. I'm sure that happened completely organically and nobody was murdered. Absolutely no one was murdered. Mexican Mother's Day. Look at these Mexican swimming pools. People, dude. Give me people. Still, all white people. What the fuck? Oh, here we go. Here we go, you guys. Oh, I put in Mexican people. And there we go. Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly what I think when I think of a Mexican person. A blonde. I mean, it's maybe there's some Latino in there, but you're killing me here, Google. You're absolutely killing me. Here, I'll do MS-13. Sorry, I am off the rails. I don't care though. Was it just gonna be a bunch of white people? They really don't have good pictures of them. I mean, there's this one. That's a real close-up shot. I guess they don't want you identifying. This is kind of the look, right? This is more or less the look. Yeah. I guess it's really difficult to find pictures of Mexican people.
End of their
Who'd have
wits.
thought?
Like, some of them just want to have an adventure, and that's what these.
Oh, Scott says you need to search dirty Mexicans. That I said Mexicans. Shouldn't it be implied? No, because they gave me all the white ones. And one Jewish one. That was the president for some reason. How many Jews are in Mexico? One? Is it one person? And then they're all like, yeah, you need to be president. And what happened to all these other candidates? I don't know. They just ended up dead for some reason. They're just jumped out of buildings and shot themselves several times. It's weird. It's very strange. You're the one Jew in Mexico, and you're going to be the president of this entirely Catholic nation. Weird.
These kids were on. We were like, I was like, are you guys worried about getting deported?
How is that not totally suspect? How are people not being like, what the fuck? Aren't people mad about that? Like, if you... Like, what the fuck? In America, we had a black president, but we have 13% black people. I mean, so at least there's that. There's way less than 1% of Jewish Mexicans. Way less. And I'm sure most of them have like dual citizenship with Israel. So are they Mexicans? No, they're Israelis that also live here or have a house there or something like that. What? Your president has dual citizenship. And you're cool with that? I don't think they're cool with it. I think they just, that's what they have to deal with. That's just it. But I'd be like, no, something's up, dude. Something's up.
Reported. They're like, nah, we'll just come back again. And so that was interesting. So I chopped it up with them. They were asking me about my tattoos and shit. A lot of them, were funny and shit. Yeah, there was some bullying happening in the pod because there was this kid who wouldn't stop crying.
You look like you get the shit bullied out of you. Not just in the like intake pod or whatever, but like the rest of your life. Most of your life, they bully the shit out of you. I can tell. And I'm not saying I would bully you. I might be cool with you and stuff, but you just kind of seem like a target. No offense. No offense, bro. It's just you got that vibe, right? You got that target vibe. And I'm not talking about white woman Target where you go and you shop for trinkets and stuff like that and spend like $700 on basically nothing. No, I'm talking about like you're weak. I'm sorry. Again, no offense.
Crying. And we're not talking about crying. Like he was like,
JD says, I can dish it as well as I take it. I'm not a sensitive queer. I enjoy your humor. Well, that's pretty gay. If you like my humor, that means you're gay.
And no disrespect, because I'm sure he was going through it, but like, there's 50 dudes in there. Half of them are trying to sleep. Some are trying to watch Marley and Me. I keep trying to run the dude up for Capri Sun.
It's a Marley and Me. And he's probably like explaining the plot to the other, like to all the Mexicans around. And then they start crying. All right? Because el perro es muerte. El perro es muerte. No. It just causes a riot in the holding tank. And they're like, hey, quiet it down in there. And it throws like a bunch of beans in there to pacify them. I don't know how you pacify a bunch of Mexicans. Capri Suns, apparently.
And this dude in the corner is blowing everybody's high. And so he's just like, ah!
Scott says, cartels are funded and armed by Israel. Yeah, I think that's common knowledge. And so is all this immigration. This is all funded by Israel, which means it's funded by the U.S. It sucks, but it is what it is. What are you going to do?
So I go up to him, naturally being someone.
Pamunky says, it's El Sado, which is pitch perfect Spanish, by the way. I don't know if any of you uncultured swine understand this. It's El Sado is perfect Spanish. That is a perfect Spanish sentence. It's El Sado. That's true. Yes. It's mucho El Sado, amigo. See, I can do it. I can do the lingo.
And tries to empathize with people. I'm like, dude, what's going on?
Pinche Owen
Nepal.
Wilson.
I was like, yep, Nepal.
What?
And he points to his wristband and it said like Nepal 18. So he was from Nepal. And I was like, yeah, Nepal. And he was like, Nepal. I was like, God, this guy sucks. But he was cool. He was just so bummed out. And just found it crazy there was people all the way from Nepal and shit. I would
Rick.
say that in the 4 days that we
Rick says, oh, here, hold on. I got the bell. El Bello. There we go. And he says, every single time. Can you say it? Can you say it in Spanish, please? We're learning Spanish tonight, boys. That's what we're doing. We're learning Spanish, and so when we're in holding, because I got plans. You see, when we're in holding, we can explain Marley and Me to all the Mexicans. That's my plan. That's our outreach program. We're going to explain bad movies to MS-13 gang members and make them cry. Right? They didn't cry when their mom got beheaded by the cartel or anything like that. But when Owen Wilson's dog dies, holy shit. You're going to see some bawling ballers. Boleros? I don't know what they're called.
We were locked up at the facility. We probably saw 10,000 people being
Kalergi
processed
plan,
from all
senor.
Walks of
Don't
life,
know what that
from
means.
all countries I could even think of. Countries I didn't even know existed. Uzbekistan. The hell's that? Like some of them.
It's one of the stands, man. There's like 20 stands. All right, they used to be part of Russia, and now they're just a bunch of stands. That's all I know. Do they speak Russian? No fucking clue.
It was really difficult.
No
situation
fucking
with
clue.
the translation because most of the Border Patrol agents speak Spanish and English. So they're on the phone with the fucking Bangladeshi consulate being like, do you claim this man? And you know what I mean? They're like, yeah, they got phones and translators and shit. Kid from Nepal is crying. Got Congress people from Kathmandu being like, bring.
How'd the kid from Nepal get there? Did he fly to Mexico so he can sneak into America? That's just weird. I mean, it's not Nepal. Nepal? You couldn't go to like Germany or something like that? There's no white people left in Germany. Germany has fallen. Germany, I feel bad for Germany, dude. Like, just because they lost a war like 80 years ago, they have to be wiped off the map? That's not cool. That's not cool. I don't even care if they did do all that Schwitz stuff. That's not cool.
Bring him home. It's a fucking nightmare. It's like you're in the.
Oh, here we go. Let me do the Spanish bell. You can hear it. It rang with an accent. And Ric Flair says, "Cada vez sin excepción, Juan." That's how you say my name in Mexican.
The UN. But man,
Gracias, señor, para el $2.
Saw so many people.
I'm going to do the rest of the stream in very shitty Spanish. Muy malo español. See?
While I was detained, Elliot and Juan did their best to continue the shoot and
David Thoreau says, 240K topos.
Walked around Eagle Pass asking people if they knew of something going on.
We went to the smoke shop to get some rolling papers, and
of course.
the locals there, they told us about some street races that were going on.
Sick.
I started recording. There was first race.
Scott says Doritos for everyone, but how good are Doritos, right? Dorito. You go to like a good burrito shop and like, oh my God, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like a nice meaty ass carne asada burrito, not like Taco Bell or even like a hole in the wall burrito shop that just has the dankest fucking burritos. My mouth is watering, right? And then you get yourself a Doritos, and then you're a happy camper. You're just a happy dude, right? Oh my God, am I hungry? Oh. California had some good parts, right? And like there's some burrito shops that were absolutely devastating. Like, holy shit, bro. And I am a burrito fan. I love burritos. I'm a big fan of burritos and basically all Mexican food. It's like 7 ingredients. Can't go wrong. JD doesn't know. JD doesn't have Mexican food. JD, you don't have Mexican food. I know this for a fact. I've been to London like twice. I know this for a fact that nowhere in England has Mexican food. Nowhere in Europe in general has Mexican food. That sucks. That sucks, dude. Because I've known like German people that come over and then they're like, dude, do you know about this Mexican food? Yeah, I do. And he's like, let's go get some. I don't know why I make him sound like a Mexican. Maybe he's just trying to fit in. I'm like, you're a 6'5" German dude. Yeah, let's go get some fucking burritos. I'm like, of course. Yes. My buddy, he was all like, while I'm here, I want to get as much Mexican food as possible because we don't have it in Germany. And I was like, yeah, I get you. Let's go. And we did. It was delicious.
All of a sudden, like, and I just happened to be recording, thank God, like,
Burritos are busting.
So I got this gnarly
It's
car
true.
crash on camera, and then the smoke clears, and you can just see the fucking...
Not a fan of the guava, huh, Rick?
of that fucking car, like, left there. Oh, my God. They were saying it was some $300,000 car that was on Street Outlaws or something like that.
As night began to fall on the first day of my detention, Elliot...
And since they're Mexicans, they don't have insurance, right? Not because they can't get insurance. It's just because they don't want to. They have the ability to get insurance and like pay for it and stuff like that. But they choose not to because they're here illegally. And if you're breaking one crime, if you're like breaking one law, you might as well break another. And then your entire life is just breaking laws. And then what are they going to do if they catch you? What are they going to do? They're going to do nothing. Nothing. They're not going to do anything. They're going to be like, well, we can't hold him because he's not a citizen, so we're just going to release him back into the wild. What? What? Oh, but we can't deport him because that would be cruel. So we're just going to release him back into the general public where he's like killing and raping and shit and stealing from people. Okay, yeah. All right. Sweet.
Elliot and Juan went to a local bar called Cooters, expecting me to be released at any moment.
Scott said, shit, I did fuck up. I made myself hungry. Dude, me too. I made myself hungry because I was imagining those burrito shops and I was like, oh my God, that's like so good. That's so good. And I'm like, I'm hungry now. And it's, I'm not going back to California though. No, and I have family there and like they haven't seen me in years and I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm not going back. I hate that place. I hate that place. I hate that place. It's disgusting. It's covered with homeless people and trash and everything is way too expensive. And like, it's just, the vibe isn't what you think California would be. A lot of people have this misconception about what California is. Oh, it's cool and relaxed and man, everyone's all like, yeah, hating Ashbury. And then we can like rollerblade along the beach. Everyone thought I lived on the beach. Like I would say I'm from California and they'd be like, oh, you live on the beach and you smoke weed, man. I mean, I smoke weed, sure. But like, everything's so chill and yeah, awesome. It's not cool. It's not okay, man. It's not okay. It's the ghetto. People are getting shot and stabbed all day, every day. You will get robbed. If you don't know how to like handle yourself in California, you're going to get the shit kicked out of you. You're going to get the shit kicked out of you. And not just for your like race or something like that, but also for your political beliefs, your political affiliations. If you're wearing like a red hat, it doesn't even have to be MAGA or anything like that. It just has to vaguely look like one. If you're wearing a MAGA hat in like downtown Sacramento or you wander into San Francisco, you're going to get your ass beat, dude. You're going to get your shit pushed in. It's not cool. It's not chill. Don't go to California. Don't ever go to California. And I know that people, Asian people specifically, they go to Hollywood because that's where the big movies are made. And then they're horrified because there's crackheads and people like doing the trankling and stuff like that. And then there's just like plastic bags blowing in the wind and stuff. Oh, but they outlawed those. Well, that's weird because they're still everywhere. They're still everywhere. And, homeless upon homeless upon homeless. It used to just be Skid Row. Now Skid Row is like bigger than LA itself. And that's LA. That doesn't have as big of a homeless problem as San Francisco does. It's you see this division where there's like utter poverty and just despair and like millions and millions of people just like fighting to survive right outside of like Apple headquarters and like Google and Sun Microsystems. And it's like Silicon Valley where there's billionaires driving around in Ferraris, like their 10th Ferrari or something like that. And it's just crazy to witness. California is nice if you're a billionaire. If you're a billionaire, you could have a great old time. But if you're making only, let's say, $150,000 a year, you're poor as shit. You live in a box van. And you might think I'm exaggerating. I'm not. 150K is poor as fuck in California. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. When you have to pay $5,000 a month for a shitty apartment, it's not okay. Dude, no, man. No. That's in San Francisco. LA might be a little cheaper, but like, bro, it's not the glitz and glamour that people think it is. And we have fucking retards come out from like Oklahoma or Ohio or something like that, coming to make their dreams come true and be a movie star or a big comedian. I was a stand-up comedian for a long time there, but I grew up in California. So there would be people from the Midwest that would come in and they would be eaten alive. And sometimes literally, like they would be butchered and eaten by people. It's not okay. A lot of times they would end up in like gay porn and stuff. Right? And that's the happy ending. That's the good ending. Otherwise, you become like human trafficked and get sent out of the country. They used to call it Shanghaied, right? When you get kidnapped and shipped off to China to work in a factory or something. Now you're just being human trafficked. You're a pretty blonde girl from the Midwest and you came out to make your dreams come true. And now you ended up as some slave in Saudi Arabia. You don't think that shit happens? It happens every day. Every day. Every day. It's real, man. Like that Taken, that movie, that's a real movie. That happens. People get kidnapped. People get like thrown into vans and then they just drive off and then nobody does anything. Nobody does anything. Nobody does anything. Right? And then you're just like, is this like Snake Plissken in Escape from LA where it's just like we're living in hell on earth? You know how much this state makes? It's the 5th largest economy on the planet. How are people living like this? This is what you would think Brazil is like. And I bet it's a lot nicer in Brazil. Because the favelas are made out of like tin. Like they have tin roof shanties. In California, it's just tents. Just tents as far as the eye can see. And then just big hordes of people come in to like a Rite Aid or something like that and then steal everything off the shelf. And then the people that work there, that's it. They don't even say stop. They don't want to get shot. The only people with guns there are criminals. And all the Glocks have switches. Somehow they have very tight gun laws. And if you want to buy a gun in California, it takes weeks, sometimes up to a month, to buy a nerfed rifle, a nerfed ass rifle. But every gang member in California has a Glock with a switch on it. Like, what? Dude, I knew a guy who found a gun, right? He found a gun and it was, I think it might have been a Glock. I kind of forget what it was. But then he was like, yeah, I just sold it in a park for like $50. I was like, okay, that is a felony, what you did. That's a felony. And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, yeah, okay, why? I would have bought it. Because, you never know when you need an unregistered firearm. I'm just saying. You know, they can come in handy. I don't have any. They could come in handy. Okay? All right? It makes problems go away a lot easier. That's what I'm saying. Okay?
Free them boys.
Free my guys.
Free them boys, bro. This shit's fucked up, bro.
Then all of a sudden, the guards come back about 3 hours later. They say, everybody except Callahan, get on the bus. Everybody from the pod fucking leaves. And I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Leo Von Puzel says, and it takes 6 months to get a gun license, around $800. Do they have gun license? I bought a gun in California, and I bought it legally. I had to take a test. I had to do the waiting period. I had to do the background check. I don't think I had to do a gun license, but this was years ago. At least, 15 years ago. Damn, I'm old.
I'm trying to get out of here. And they were like, yeah, your case is kind of a weird one, and the courts are pretty backed up right now, so we're just going to have you hang tight, all right? See you in a bit. Fucking as soon as all the homies leave, 60 new guys come in. So I'm sitting alone. All these migrants start dumping into the pod. I'm like, fuck. So this nightmare repeats itself over and over again to the point where
Monkey says some folks want to sell their murder weapon to a pawn, and they'll buy it. The pawn shop will buy it, yeah. And like, I mean, it's a murder weapon, but it's not like worthless, right? You get a good weapon. It depends, dude. Like, it depends. You have to know who's going to deal with you and who is not going to deal with you. A lot of pawn shops, especially ones run by like Indians and stuff like that, they'll buy that. They'll buy that shit all day because they don't care. They're probably here illegally too. Yeah, they'll buy that shit and then resell it to like the Bloods or the Crips. Here's another thing about California. There is gangs everywhere and like famous gangs. I would see Hell's Angels and Mongols and shit all the time. Bloods, Crips, MS-13. There was a lot of biker gangs in Sacramento. So yeah, it's just you knew who they were because they have a certain look. Each gang has like, you know, a leather jacket and they have like bottom rockers and stuff like that, which are a label underneath the patch on their back and stuff. And that patch will have like where they're from and their gang affiliation. And they're not the worst people. The biker gangs are probably the nicest of the gangs, right? They actually, they can be really cool. But you don't want to fuck with them, right? They will murder you. They will murder you like badly, like fully 100% murder your ass. But they are the nicest of the gangs. And like, the least nice was the blacks. The black gangs, they are just straight up, they'll fucking tear you to bits. And the Mexicans aren't much better, but the Mexicans they're pretty bad. And then there's the white gangs too. They would be the biker gangs. I never saw like neo-Nazis. When you see gangs in movies and stuff like that, oh, neo-Nazi skinhead gangs. You don't see that. You don't see too much of that. No, you don't see too much of that.
Where even the guards realized they're being a little bit too harsh. So they put me and Susan in a solitary confinement cell together. It was the best moment of my life. They were like,
Susan.
Callahan. And I'm like, oh, am I getting out? They were like, you and Susan are going to the hole. We can't have you.
Leo says, I grew up in Venice. We had V13 and Venice Shoreline Crest. Yeah, so I grew up outside of Sacramento, and it was a big biker area, so we had a lot of biker gangs. Down in Venice, yeah, I could see Crips for sure. Did you have Bloods around there too, or was Venice mainly like Crip territory? Because yeah, we didn't have too many Bloods and Crips up in Sacramento, but I knew they were there.
fraternizing with these illegal aliens. They seem to be taking a real liking to you. And I was like, shit. So they put me and Susan in the cell, and it's 62 degrees. When I talked to an immigration-related journalist later, they said they refer to these rooms as the ice boxes. How do you say it? Hieleras? Hieleras. And they purposely make them as cold as possible to like send a message to migrants, so when they get out and they go back and tell their families or potential people who want to cross, like, yo, it's freezing in there. So it's 62 degrees, and also like,
that ain't cold enough. But I guess they're tropical people. They're jungle people, right? They're from like the equator and stuff, so maybe that's pretty cold. 62 is that's a nice sleeping temperature. 62. I can handle 62. I'm very thick. And I live in Florida, so I'm sweating all the time. So 62 is lovely. I will take 62 all day long.
Like, the thing that I didn't even know that fucked me up is no natural light.
Leo says pure Crips, even Santa Monica. Yeah, that makes sense. Where do the Bloods hang out? Because, yeah, I know there's territories, and, you know, the Bloods can't go into the Crip territory like that. So maybe you don't know, but I'm just saying.
I'm not talking about the beer. I'm talking about the sun. Like, it fucks with you. I didn't like really understand that I was dependent on the sun, like as a human being. Like, I never saw the sunlight, and I was like, oh fuck, thank God. But when you're just like in a room where the lights never turn off, there's no bed, there's no pillow, there is just the cold, hard ground, a vent blowing out 62-degree air, and a little like bench type situation with no mat on it either. And it was horrible, especially because
So it's weird. People think California is all sunshine, and where Leo is, yeah, it probably is sunshine and like 80 degrees most of the time. But in Sacramento, it'll rain for weeks, man. Because I grew up not in Sacramento, but in the Sierra Nevadas, where the Pacific during the winter time, or like around the Pacific Ocean, will send in moist air up over the Sierra Nevada mountains. And this is how it gets a lot of snow. Like, there a lot of snow dumped onto the Sierra Nevadas. That's how California gets enough water to grow crops and have so many people, right? So it will be cloudy for weeks. It'll be cloudy for weeks, man. And like it'll break for a few days, and then it'll be cloudy again for weeks, and you're just like, oh my God, dude, it sucks. It sucks. Yeah, I grew up snowboarding. I would go snowboarding after school, and yeah, it's just like you don't realize how much you miss the sun when it's just gone for so long. And here, if it's cloudy for a day, I'm spoiled now. If it's cloudy for a day, I'm like, where's the sunshine? I want the sunshine back. I want to go to the beach. You know, I go surfing now. I like my life better now.
I had no idea how long I'd be in there for. They wouldn't tell me when I'm getting out. I was like, am I getting out tomorrow or the next day? Dude, 2 days go by.
On the beginning of the second day in the processing center, they decided to separate me and Susan. They say, for legal reasons. They said that because our case was ongoing, there were concerns that we were conspiring to provide the Department of Homeland Security with a false alibi, and so they moved us both to solitary confinement cells.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. I was sitting there in my cell, stinking up the place. No showers, no hand soap, and also like just like wondering what my bros were up to. I can only imagine.
I wonder what Susan's doing right now. Gay. You gay. You gay, nigga.
How they must have felt. I mean, they must have been worried sick thinking about, you know, what I was.
So you see that tattoo? That's the Seattle. That's a Space Needle, I think they call it. So that means he's from Seattle. So this look makes a lot of sense. I don't like the people from Seattle. I think they're assholes. But Seattle is in a very similar situation that like San Francisco and Los Angeles are. Portland as well, but a little bit less in Portland. But Seattle is just gross, man. It's just dingy, and it's just gross. And I'm sure Seattle at one time was really cool, like back in the 90s, where there was grunge bands and coffee and everyone was like, oh yeah, life. Now it's just disgusting. Everyone's on drugs. They're passing out needles. Like, drugs are basically legal and damn near free. It's And it's all on purpose. It's all on purpose to destroy the city. And it's just. So I don't blame the people from Seattle. Maybe they were nicer back in the 90s. But when I went there, I'm like, you guys are a bunch of fucking assholes.
I was going through. Like, I just imagined.
And I'm from California.
For them to know that
people in California aren't friendly. They're not friendly. That's probably to do with, like, you need to work constantly to be able to survive. You need to really, really hustle just to keep a roof over your head. So people don't have time for your shit in California. That's probably what it is. In Florida, people have more downtime, especially where I am, because I live in like a vacation town. So a lot of people here just don't have jobs. So it's a lot more relaxed.
their homie was being held in a small
liberal shitholes,
concrete
exactly.
cage.
Yo, when we get together, we're gonna throw a party like this.
So all of this
happened. I mean,
going down
with not as many Mexicans. I'm sure some of you are Mexicans. I mean, I know a few of you are, but it's not going to be overwhelmingly Mexican like this. But maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what most of you are. I assumed white. JD, I know you're white. Scott, you're white. Pamunky. Leo, I'm pretty sure is. Yeah, most of you are white.
Halloween weekend. So at one point, like, yeah,
but not all of you.
It was.
I know Noel. Noel's like Hispanic.
It's like, are we really gonna go to a Halloween party right now while our boys are locked up? It's like I don't know what else to do.
Where
like,
the fuck has Noel been? Is he? Do you guys know where Noel Gusa has been? Is he okay? He used to like hit me up a lot. I hope he's doing good.
Like, let's go see what's happening in Eagle Pass.
So we go out Saturday, we go to the Halloween party.
Cheddar, of course, gets us the address. We pull up, and it's like, I haven't been to a party like this in a while. It was like solo cups. There's like a pool that fully clothed people are like kind of swimming in. Like, everybody's dressed up. They're playing fucking goddamn square dancing music. Like, the whole fucking party.
That's a good party. That's a fun party.
Popping. It was lit. It was fucking lit.
We were
a lit ass party, dude. I haven't been to a party in. Well, actually, no, I've been to a party, but it was like an old person party. I haven't been to like a lit party in a long time. But yeah, I want to go to a party.
Like all rolling around with cameras, and I was just like telling people to jump in the pool, and they would jump in the pool.
Leo says Cuban, Argentinian, Italy. You're white. That's white. That's white. Especially Argentinian, dude. Come on. Just say German. Just say German.
Best shit ever.
Yeah, so learned how to square.
Royce is from Cuba, and he's white, right? Well, they say, oh, Hispanic white. That doesn't mean anything. That's just that's a white person. Right? Just because you're from a country that speaks Spanish, you're still a white person, you know? I don't know why they have that qualifier of, oh, he's Hispanic white. What? What does that even mean? He speaks a different language? Does that mean he's a different race? No, it doesn't. He's just a white person. That's just a normal white person. That's how I see it. I don't see Italians and Spanish and Greeks I consider white too. They're all Caucasians. They are all Caucasians. There's only 3 groups of people. There's Caucasoid, there's Mongoloid, and then there's Negroid. I'm probably going to get banned for that third one, but that's a true classification. There's 3 classifications of human beings. Those are the 3, right? The Caucasoid are European whites, like that. The Mongoloids are Asians, and that encompasses Hispanics and stuff too. Because that's where they originate from Asia, they went over the Bering. Anyways, and then the Negroids are obviously sub-Saharan Africans. So yeah. Egypt was not built by black people. It was not. They are considered Caucasians.
Square dance that night.
They might be Arabs or whatever like that, but Arabs still are technically Caucasians. Depending, because Indians are considered Asians, so they would be part of the Mongoloid. So there's kind of like a gray area around there. So, but a lot of Arabs are Caucasian. Caucasian.
Thankfully, they also did as I would do and found a rapper to freestyle by the end of the night.
You already know, coming up from the 830 to the 405 with my native tribe, spitting this alive, spitting this shit to survive. You already know we're coming up and so live. Yeah, with the border crisis, you already fucking know. Fuck ISIS, you already fucking know.
Background noise says never saw those Tremors movies, and that's a very good reference. God, what do they call them? What do they call them? The Graboids. The Graboids, yes. That's a good reference. Burt Gummer is the man.
It's been
Hey, David.
36 hours. It's coming up on 48. Now we got to call somebody. Now we got to reach out and like
You're
keep
just
people in
gay.
the
All
loop
right,
and,
that's
kind of
whatever.
make like a team.
Whatever.
I was under the impression that if Susan or Andrew got a call, they were probably going to call like the wife or the mom or the girlfriend, right? So basically had to give them a hard call and be like, hey, I don't know how to say this, but our boys are locked up right now. I'm really not working with much information, but I do know that if they get
Kevin Bacon before he got robbed by that one guy.
Call one of you.
He got like almost his entire net worth just robbed from him. Did you guys know about that? That one guy who went to prison for robbing everyone. He got Kevin Bacon pretty bad. What was that guy's name? I forgot the guy that I can't remember it. But yeah, Kevin Bacon basically lost his entire net worth. And so he had to go back doing commercials or whatever.
You three is going to be the call. Let's have an open line of communication. We started a group chat.
And the dad from Family Ties, huh?
On the same page.
Really? Oof. Somebody help me with that guy's name. The Jewish guy that ran the Ponzi scheme. I mean, I guess it goes without saying he's a Jewish guy, but whatever.
Just like keep all the worrying to like a minimum. It was a super intense situation. It was kind of at first it was like, haha, oh shit. And then like now it was like, all right, now they're being in there for almost 2 days with no information.
It wasn't Sam Bankman. It wasn't that guy. It was a different Jewish guy. It keeps escaping me.
We have no idea what's going on. It was super real. It was starting to feel like fucked up. And then
no, it's not Sam Bankman. All right, it was a different Jewish guy. It was years ago. It was a different Jewish guy that did it years. Yeah, Sam Bankman was the most recent Jewish guy to rip a bunch of people off. But there was another Jewish guy a number of years back that he had a huge Ponzi scheme and he ripped a bunch of people off and now he's in jail.
Your mind starts wandering like, holy shit, maybe this is way more illegal than I anticipated. Like maybe there's actually the thought of like, them being in jail for like 3-6 months, a year. Like that started becoming like an actual possibility. Like fuck.
As night fell on day 3, hygiene became a real
Bernie Madoff, thank you, background noise. Oh my God, thank you, background. Here, I'm going to give you a bell for that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Bernie Madoff was his name. Bernie Madoff. He made off with all his money. That was the joke at the time. So, yeah. Maybe Pessy's the next guy. I don't know.
We start really stinking. And so I start requesting showers. I'm like, please, can I shower? Please, can I have a mat? Please, can I have a pillow? Can I have anything? And they were just like, no. I was like, all right, well, can I get a phone call? They're like, nope, nothing. No access to any of that shit. So I was just requesting Capri Sun after Capri Sun for like 3.5 hours. Finally, they let me get one phone call. And so I call my mom. I'm like, yo, I'm okay.
Not Larry
King.
King.
I'm okay. Like,
we already did it.
I just want people.
We already stopped naming Jewish guys, all right? We got the one that I was specifically thinking of.
People know that I'm safe.
Hitler's not even Jewish, maybe.
If not, beheaded by the cartel or some shit.
And so it was time to get in touch with some lawyers. And so we had literally...
Who did the Enron thing? Boy, I remember that. Enron hit so Enron was an energy dealer, right? They dealt in energy, but not like specifically making it. They dealt in trading energy between, and they were involved in California a lot. And this is why California had those rolling blackouts for a long period of time, which large swaths of the state would just go black, right? They would just, the power would just die because they were selling all the power to like Canada or something like that. And there wasn't enough to supply the state. There was also a bunch of like money laundering going on. But that's pretty common these days. Who specifically was behind that? I don't remember any names, but I do remember the entire Enron fiasco. And boy, that was shit hitting the fan. That was shit hitting the fan for sure.
He pulled up to some
breast cancer awareness festival or something like that that they host every year.
Still not having a fluid understanding of
Sandy Koufax was a baseball player. Yeah, he didn't even work in finance. He was Jewish, but he had no dealings in finance that I know of
what exactly my charges were. Elliot and Juan went to a local nonprofit event to speak with some lawyers, immigration lawyers specifically, who were offering free consultations.
My name's Edgar Juarez. I am originally from South Texas, but I'm here living in Eagle Pass, Texas. I am a criminal defense attorney.
So hypothetically,
okay,
if an American citizen was for some reason to want to cross over illegally, what would the ramifications be? Would they, if they got caught by border?
I'm digging the jams, and certain places in California, certain neighborhoods, that's all you hear, dude. Everywhere, dude. You'll hear it in cars passing by. And it's so ridiculous.
Okay, so if you're talking about a U.S. citizen that's in Mexico and he decides to do a trek across into the United States as if he didn't have documentation to cross, and he were to cross that way, more than likely he will be detained and he's looking at criminal offenses. A lot of people don't know this, but to enter to the United States, you need to enter into a port of entry. There are designated ports of...
Dom says because the Germans escaped to Mexico, and that's why they have the boom, boom. No, dude. No. It's not polka music or anything like that. It's... You know what? I actually don't know. You might be right. I have no idea. Because those Germans, I mean, they bailed. A lot of them went to Argentina. A lot of them ended up in the U.S. and like working for NASA and stuff like that. They kind of just spread out. So, but none left in Germany. No, there is a few left. There is a few Germans left in Germany, but they are few and far between. And I have a number of friends in Germany, and they're like, it sucks here. Everyone is 100 years old, and everyone's like, all the Germans are dying off, right? They're all dying off, and the young ones can't get established because all their tax money goes to immigrants, right? The stabby ones, and so it's just it's hopeless for them at this point. I really do feel bad for the Germans. They're in a rough spot. They're in a rough spot, dude.
Entries, and you need to enter through that.
Focus?
And if you don't present for yourself for inspection, that's a federal offense. A lot of people don't know, but it's my understanding that when astronauts land, they come back from space and they land into the United States, they actually have to go through customs. Because why? Because they're entering into the United States.
Yeah, no shit, dude. Of course. It's just like, it's another ship. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? I mean, they're obviously not smuggling anything, but they still have to go through the procedures. There's a reason why these procedures are in place, right? They've already planned ahead for space travel, right? When space travel becomes ubiquitous and common, they're going to have to come through ports of entry, right? They're going to have to go through customs. That makes perfect sense to me.
When you enter into the United States, you need to present yourself to immigration inspection so that they can verify that you're here in this country legally.
That was the craziest shit. He was like, yeah, even when fucking like astronauts come back, like they have to check in with Border Patrol. And
End of day 3, about 3 in the morning. Officer Javian, you're the fucking homie. If you're watching this, Javian, you're the coolest Border Patrol agent in the whole world. He knocks on the door and he's like, you guys want to get a shower? Man, he walks us out of the building. Okay, we get to see the moon. I don't know if you ever seen the moon after spending 2 days locked up, but it's nice. I'm looking at the moon, I see the stars, I'm just like, oh my God, it's nighttime.
And then you breathe air that doesn't smell like piss, dude. And then I'm sure it's nice. You get a little taste. You get a little taste.
I didn't know it was nighttime, and I was like, damn, nighttime's such a beautiful thing.
You bet Space Coke is awesome? I mean, so it's like $10,000 a pound to get anything into orbit. So, I mean, that's cheaper than normal cocaine. Right? So they're probably bringing back Space Coke. And I bet it's awesome. I bet it's the best stuff. It's out of this world. That's the pitch. Have some Space Coke. It's out of this world. We're working on it. This is a pitch room, right? We're still working on the beaner catcher idea. The beaner bolo, the Mexicant. Can somebody make me some shirts? I don't make shirts, but I feel like we have so many good shirt ideas that they're like little butterflies that I can't catch with my net, right? I don't have the ability or the willingness. I don't want to put more work into this show.
Calm at night.
I work hard enough. I have decided that I work hard enough at doing this. So you guys do it.
It was crazy for me to look out there and see the highway.
You guys do it.
Damn, the homies have no idea where I'm at. So he lets us get a shower. Javian says, take all the time you need. We get out of the shower.
Moon dust.
Bro,
That's a good
gives me
name
Camel
for it.
Crush. He gives me a cigarette. That was awesome. So if you're watching this, bro, thanks for the cigarette. Real shit. And the shower.
Real
Uncle
shit.
Javian. Shout out to Officer Javian. Finally, it must have been 6 o'clock in the morning. The night before, they finally moved me and Susan into the same cell. They let us watch The Matrix, which I had never seen before. It was pretty dope. And then this one Border Patrol agent comes by.
Let's go ahead and stop. Stop right fucking there. You've never seen The Matrix? You've never seen The Matrix. Like the best movie of the Gen X generation. The Matrix. You've never seen The Matrix. The movie that had us all questioning the reality of reality. You've never seen the fucking Matrix. There's so many references. There's so many memes. There's so many cultural ideas referring to The Matrix. Not once have you been like, hey, maybe I should watch that movie. Not once. Not once. Like the first one was the only good one, honestly. It was the only good one. I didn't care for the other two. But you've never seen The Matrix. What do you think? That blows my mind. That blows my mind. I want to watch The Matrix right now. It was such a good movie. It was such a good movie. And like, it was such a good movie that it drove the creators insane. And they thought they were girls, dude. And then now they're like sisters. They used to be boys, right? But now they're like, we're ladies. And, reality is fake. It drove them crazy. It drove them crazy, and you don't want to watch that movie. You've never wanted to watch that movie. Okay. All right. Not here to judge. It's not my position. I'm not the judge here. But you're fucking crazy for not wanting to watch The Matrix. Not even once. Have you seen Lord of the Rings? Have you seen Lord of the Rings? Because you need to watch that. It's the best trilogy ever made. Bar none. That's it. The best trilogy ever made. And I'm counting Star Wars 4, 5, and 6, by the way. Right? Which is an excellent trilogy on its own. Right? The 4, 5, and 6, the originals from the 70s, that fantastic. Fantastic movies. Lord of the Rings is still better than that. How have you never seen I don't know why I'm upset about this. I don't know why I'm putting so much energy towards this. Whatever. Fuck you, loser.
Bye. And he's like, you boys ready to see sunlight again? We're just like, no way. And he just drops us off at the fucking gas station.
So what? They just let you out? They just let you out? You didn't even see a judge or anything like that? They're just like, all right, we're just going to drop you off somewhere. Okay. Okay. All right. That's cool, I guess. They drop him off back in Mexico. Right? They drop him off back in Mexico without his papers, without his passport or anything like that. They're all like, okay, you get a second round. Go ahead and try it again. That would be hilarious. That would be an epic gamer move. Like, I would solidly respect that, right? Just to fuck with him. Just to absolutely fuck with him. I would, if I were in that position and like, oh, you're letting me go? You're just going to let me go? And then they drop me off back in Mexico. I'd be like, respect. I respect that. I respect that. That's some funny shit, bro. I mean, I know it's me and I'm the one screwed by it, but that's some funny shit. Super, super funny. Hey, what's up, orderly? Right? He comes out all Mexican.
Boy.
Let's go get some churros.
I wonder how many people have gotten out and just went straight to the bean dip across the street. For real.
Guess what they didn't take?
The SD card. I knew.
Tight.
I was like, bro.
Tight. Because SD cards aren't cheap, dude. SD cards aren't cheap. And like, you know, he could have just, whoop, no one would have known.
Oh, I don't know if you boofed it or like hit it under like the.
Boofed it. You boofed it.
On some blood diamond shit where you just like hit it in the fucking dirt.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. It's good to be out.
Nice.
Oh my God, bro. Holy shit, I'm so happy to see you guys.
You guys got interviews and shit?
Chief of police, sheriff.
Wait, you put a mic on him?
Yeah.
Should we talk about what happened? Or should we? I don't want to go near there.
Yeah.
Few words could describe the joy of leaving that godforsaken, awful place behind.
Sick,
I can
bro.
hardly believe it only been 4 days since I...
4 days? That's all you did? You did 4 days in the clink? That ain't bad. That ain't bad. I mean, it's not ideal, for sure, because you're a journalist and you were, like, being stupid. You were being stupid. And you're like, what's illegal about crossing the border? I'm an American citizen. You're a fucking idiot. That's what you are. That's still a federal crime. You're stupid. But you made a good video out of it. Honestly, I went through a whirlwind of emotions. We came up with some good ideas. I think you guys helped. Not a lot, but you helped a little bit. But I'm definitely the mastermind here. But yeah, I hope you guys never be so fucking stupid as to commit a federal crime without realizing it. 'Cause why? Never mind. Never mind. You guys go out there and you get your chimichangas and you get your burritos and your tacos and your enchiladas and your flan and your tomatillos and your there's some your Jarritos and your I said enchiladas, tamales. You can get your tamales. You can get your copious amounts of beer. You can get your large amounts of weird fish tacos. There's all types of tacos. You can get shrimp tacos. You can get there's fish, I already said. And you can get carne asada. Carne asada would be good. And some other type of taco would also be good. But carne asada is probably the best. There's chicken tacos. Oh, carnitas are delicious. And other things like that. I mean, you can really do whatever you want with tacos. I mean, they are multifaceted and they can do basically anything. Chinchurros? Are those a food? Are those a food, or are they some other type of a thing? I'm not sure, and I don't think I'll ever be sure. But I'll, but if you guys want to get some food, let's get some food. Get some food.
I'm spitting fire, burning through these trees, questioning the world, unraveling conspiracies. Talking about Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster 2, government lies, they're feeding me their goo. I'm diving deep into this rabbit hole, uncovering the truth, setting fire to their control. I got small nipples, but my voice is loud, blowing like thunder in this crazy crowd. They say I'm crazy, but I call it woke, unraveling the madness with every word I spoke.